Good afternoon. We are bringing you commentary from the Premier League today. It's Newcastle United against Wolverhampton Wanderers from the Premier League. I'm Russ Vernon and I'm your host for this afternoon's encounter. And you are listening to the commentary. Alongside me is the man who's got you the team news, and he's going to be our match commentator, Paul James. And we'll go across to Paul in just a second. Before we get across to Paul, right now, I'm just going to quickly run you through the earlier scores in the Premier League, as there's been 3 matches today so far in the English Premier League. I'll just run you through those right now. All the other scores will be coming at half time. So the early kickoffs in the Premier League all kick off at 2 o'clock. Fulham 0, Arsenal 3. Goals in the first half for Arsenal from Gabriel Martinelli and Martin Odegaard. Manchester United 0, Southampton 0. Casemiro sent off for them. There's definitely a red card after a VAR check after initially being given a yellow card. Man United drop points against struggling Southampton. West Ham United 1, Aston Villa 1. Ollie Watkins up the scoring on 17 minutes for Aston Villa. Said Ben Rama converted from the penalty spot on 26 minutes after a foul in the penalty area in the first half after Leon Bailey was fouled one of his teammate opposite players. West Ham, I think it may have been Thomas Soychek, but there was a clear foul in the build-up to that award of the penalty on Emi Martinez, which VAR failed to spot. Let's turn our attentions then to the game which is taking place at St James's Park then. Let's ask our matchday commentator Paul James for the key headline team news. And Paul, how many changes has both teams made for this afternoon's encounter?
Good afternoon, Russ. Good afternoon, everybody. Yes, there's actually been 4 changes Eddie Howe is making for Newcastle. Shaw is in for Lascelles after shaking off a head injury. Joe Willock steps in for the suspended Joel Linton. And Jacob Murphy is in for Anthony Gordon. And finally, and the more larger news here, is that Alan St. Maximin is in for Miguel Almiron. So 4 changes for the Newcastle side, and likewise for Wolverhampton. Julien Lopetegui has chosen these changes. Some of these have actually been enforced. Daniel Podence is in for Neto, and Matinho comes in for Nunes. Traore is rewarded after his goal against Spurs in their 1-0 victory. He comes in for Sarabia, and finally Jimenez is injured. Jimenez is in for the injured Diego Costa, who went off in that 1-0 victory for Spurs. So it looks like there's been some changes for both sides. And Russ, back to you.
Yes, thank you very much there, Paul. Just stay with me for a moment, Paul. And Newcastle United doing fairly well this season so far. Currently sit in the table, can move into the top, can move into 5th with a win over Wolverhampton Wanderers. Wolves struggling at the moment, can pull themselves away. They're currently 3 points above the drop zone. They can pull themselves even further clear with to 6 points clear up into 12th and 5 behind Aston Villa with a win. So that's after Aston Villa and West Ham played out a 1-1 draw at the London Stadium earlier today. How do you see this game going, Paul? Do you think it'll be a routine Newcastle win, or do you think Wolves will win it? Because for me, I'm going to say 2-1 either way for me this afternoon. And what I will say, and I'll just, before I get your thoughts on this, I'm going to say if Newcastle win, I think it'll be Alexander Isak and Joe Willock for Newcastle and Daniel Podence for Wolves. If it's Wolves who wins, I think it'll be Isak will get the goal for Newcastle, and Adama Traore and Daniel Podence will score for Wolves. How do you see this game going today, Paul?
Well, I don't think it's as straightforward as some people might think. Newcastle, of course, in the last 5 games, they've not picked up a single win. I know that they've had Manchester City and Liverpool in those 5 games, but dropping points against Bournemouth and West Ham, who are down there with Wolves right now, and Crystal Palace, who also are not exactly safe from relegation either. But Newcastle so far have been incredible defensively, a measly 0.7 goals against average. And their worst defeat this season was only a 2-0 home defeat to Liverpool, which has happened recently, of course. As for Wolves, well, they're on a bit of a renaissance right now. They've got 2 wins in the last 5 games, including that wonderful 1-0 win at home against Spurs. So they're going to be very confident. It's a very difficult game to predict, Ross, very difficult. But so I would, if you don't mind, I'm going to sit on the fence on this one. I don't think it's going to be so straightforward for Newcastle today. I think they're going to find it tough going.
Yes, that's what I think as well. I think it'll be a tough ask for both sides today. The teams are just about to emerge from the tunnel, just emerging from the tunnel right now as we speak. So why don't I hand over to the man I've just been talking to there, and over to Paul James to guide us through the first-half action at St James's Park. Is Newcastle United against Wolverhampton Wanderers in the company of Paul James.
Thank you, Russ. Good afternoon, everybody. And so teams are just emerging from the tunnel. I'm just going to run through the starting lineups for you, starting with Newcastle, who are managed by Eddie Howe. In goal is Nick Pope. The back four is Dan Burn, Sven Botman, Fabian Schär, who's back from a head injury, Kieran Trippier, who's the captain. The three midfielders rather are Joe Willock, Bruno Guimaraes, and Sean Longstaff. With Jacob Murphy and Alexander Isak and Alan St. Maximin making up the front line. No place in the lineup today then for Miguel Almiron, who has 10 goals. For Wolverhampton Wanderers, who are managed by Julian Lopetegui, they start with Jose Sarr in goal, and the back four is Johnny, Maximilian Kilman, Craig Dawson, and Nelson Semedo. They have 2 holding midfielders today in a 4-2-3-1 system. Mario Lemina, Ruben Neves, the captain. The 3 attacking midfielders are Daniel Podence, 5 goals this season, João Moutinho, and Adama Traore, who scored the goal against Spurs, and Raul Jimenez. So the substitutes today for Newcastle is Martin Dubravka, the goalkeeper. They've gone for a pretty defensive lineup of substitutions: Paul Dummett, Jamal Lascelles, Matt Targett, and Javier Manquillo. Matt Ritchie, Miguel Almiron, Elliot Anderson, and Callum Wilson. For Wolves, Daniel Bentley, the substitute goalkeeper, Ryan Al-Nouri, Nathan Collins, Totti, Mateus Nunes, João Gomez, Pedro Neto, Huang Hee-chan shakes off an injury, and Mateus Kuno make up the substitutions. Now, of course, these 2 teams have played each other in all competitions at 104 times. Newcastle have won 33 of them. Wolverhampton have won 42, and there has been 29 draws. The first meeting between the 2 sides was in League Division 1 on September the 3rd, 1898, and 20,000 was crammed into St James's Park as Newcastle were defeated 4-2 by Wolverhampton Wanderers. That year, some historical events that year, on June the 9th, China leases the new territories of Hong Kong to the United Kingdom for a 99 years rent-free, expiring on June the 30th, 1997. On August 29th, the Goodyear Tyre Company was founded. And on September the 1st, Lord Kitchener's troops attack Omdurman, Sudan. So more recently, of course, the 2 teams have met in the last 10 meetings. 6 of them have been a draw. So actually the smart money might be on a draw today. Newcastle themselves have only won 1 in the last 10 meetings against Wolves. So your officials today is Andy Madley, the referee. He is 39 from Huddersfield, Premier League and UEFA official. In June 2019, Madley was promoted to a select group of referees list, which will see him referee primarily in the Premier League. This season, in all competitions, he's refereed 24 games. He's showed 84 yellow cards, 4 red cards, and he's awarded 3 penalties. He's joined by his assistants, Harry Leonard, Nick Hopton, Craig Pawson is on 4th official duty today. Tony Harrington is in Stockley Park, along with Konstantin Hazardakis. So the 2 teams are, excuse me, I apologise. The 2 teams are gathering at the centre circle now. Just taking a look at Julian Lopetegui, who just looks nice and relaxed back there as the Newcastle teams gather together to go through the final preparation. And this stadium is absolutely packed today. This wonderful, magnificent St James's Park Stadium is absolutely packed today. And Newcastle, in their black and white stripes, black shorts, black socks, will attack the goal to our right. Wolverhampton, of course, in their famous gold shirts, black shorts, and gold socks. And we are underway here, and it's with Bruno Guimaraes. Guimaraes just drops it back down to Trippier. Trippier slips it to Alexander Isak, and it's back now. And just here at the back now is Dan Burn. Burn just plays the ball forward. Well, he was looking for Wilson, but he was not able to find him. And the ball goes out of play. Sorry, he was looking for St Maximin there. He was just not able to find him. And it's a throw in right now to Wolverhampton Wanderers, just inside their own half. And it's just dropped back, cleared forward there by Lamina, and it's won back by Guimaraes. One in midfield there by Willock. The ball is played forward, chasing this one down is Isak, but it goes all the way inside the penalty area and to be picked up by Jose Sarr. Gets an early touch on the ball. We're inside the first minute at St James's Park. And it's a long throw by Jose Sarr. And the ball is failed to be controlled that time by Semedo. It goes out of play. Did come off a Newcastle player, so it's going to be a throw-in, which Semedo takes quickly. Adama Traore just is unable to control it, and there's Joe Willock on the far side, who's not able to control it either, but he does win the ball back. Drops it back to Dan Burn. Down on this near side now is Fabian Schär. Fabian Schär just inside his own half of the field. He's going to play the ball long. He's looking for Kieran Trippier there. And Trippier just tries to head the ball on. He's getting into advanced position. It's Trippier. The cross comes in and it's picked out by Jose Sarr, who drops it and he lands on it. And it was Jacob Murphy there who got the cross in. And Jose Sarr, he just made a bit of a meal of it. It was a good ball by Trippier. It goes over the top to Murphy. And Murphy then just gets the cross in. And Jose Sarr just collides actually with Neves there. Newcastle coming forward again. And down on this near side is the number 22. The cross comes in and it's long over on the far side. And it's picked up there by St Maximin. And it goes out of play. It's going to be a throw-in. Cross coming in there again by Murphy, but it's a throw-in now to be taken. It's swung in and it goes wide for a goal kick. And it's going to be a goal kick for Jose Sarr. And I must ask you to forgive me if I get some of the names wrong today. These numbers on the back of the Newcastle shirts are very, very difficult to read. There's Miguel Almiron, and he's just having a conversation on the bench right now. And there is Jacob Murphy, who's already been involved early on, getting a couple of early crosses into the penalty area. The ball is headed into the Wolves half of the field, but it's just won that time by Podence. And now here's Adama Traore. He's got a bit of space in front of him, Traore. And he just drops it down to Jimenez, just slightly out of position there is Jimenez. And it's back with the Mexican now, and he gives it back to Traore. Traore just dancing away from two Newcastle players. Is he fouled there? He goes down, and I think the referee has given the free kick. He looks in a bit of pain there, Adama Traore. And Kieran Trippier is pleading his innocence, but we'll just take a look at this again. And, well, the slide, and he won the ball, but he also took the man. So I can kind of see why the referee has given a free kick here. Yeah, it looks like they just caught the man as well. But Adama Traore now is just getting on his feet as we speak. And we're going to have a free kick, which is level with the Newcastle penalty area. Almost 4 minutes gone here. It is 0-0. Newcastle 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0. And it's going to be swung in. I'm just looking over this. Johnny appears to be over this as well, but also with Daniel Podence. And it's going to be swung into the penalty area. It's swung in and it's punched away by Nick Pope, only as far as the edge of the penalty area to Neves. And he hacks it back into the box. And the clearance away, it just wasn't great there. And it's back now with Matinho. Matinho drops it back to Podence, back to Matinho. Matinho, oh, good interception that time again by Trippier. Murphy. Trippier clears the ball. Oh, and it's just knocked on there, but then once again, cleared away by Shaw, and the ball is long now to St. Maximin. St. Maximin tries to play in Isak, but good defending that time by Matinho. Just blocked that pass. And at the back now is Lamina. Lamina just drops it back to Neves. Neves slips the ball back to Dawson. Dawson plays the ball forward, and there's Matinho again, who tries to play the ball onto Adama Traore. Traore's away on the far side. He's got Botman in front of him. Gets the cross in by Traore, and it's headed away. This time by Fabian Shaw. It's kept in play. Well done there that time by Alan St. Maximin, but having done all that hard work to keep it in play, he then knocks it out of play. So it's going to be a throw into Wolves. 5 minutes gone here at St. James's Park. It's Newcastle 0, Wolves 0. Just looking again at that cross coming in. And we're going to have a throw in here. And it's Dan Burn who just drops it back and cleared away upfield over the halfway line. St. Maximin trying to nod that ball on and chases it, but just comfortably clearing up at the back there is Kilman, but he's almost dispossessed by Isak, and Kilman made what would appear to be a routine clearance very difficult there, and it's now a throw-in to Newcastle, and here's Isak. Isak drops it back to St. Maximin, back to Gimaresh. Gimaresh on the edge of the penalty area. He just dances away from Neves. Here's Gimaresh. And he gives it back to St. Maximin. Gimaresh again. And he just drops it back to Dan Burn. And it is now with Trippier. Trippier just drops it down on this near side. And it's knocked on here. And the cross is going to come in by Longstaff. And it's just headed behind for a corner. And it will be the first corner of the game. Nodded behind by Semedo. So 6 minutes gone. It's Newcastle 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0. Lively start to this one. And we've got our first corner of the game from cross from Longstaff. So we're just going to see who's going to go over there to take it. Yes, it looks like it's Alan St. Maximin over this one. And he's just going to outswing this. And he plays it short, actually. Plays it short to Longstaff. And it's back with St. Maximin, just trying to dance his way into the penalty area. It's blocked. Comes back out again to Longstaff again. Longstaff just under pressure here. And he ends up losing the ball. And Wolves are now trying to get the ball away. But they're determining that that is a foul. And it's a foul on Johnny, actually, by Kieran Trippier. And it's going to be a free kick to Wolverhampton Wanderers. And Eddie Howe there just surveying things. It's been a rough last few weeks for Eddie Howe. Of course, lost the Carabao Cup final, but sandwiched into that also is 5 games without a win. So he's starting to feel the pinch a little bit about what looked like a genuine Champions League opportunity. Seems to be fading away from Newcastle right now. That free kick was taken quickly, but it goes out of play, and it's going to be a throw into Newcastle. And it's going to be Kieran Trippier to take it. Just looking at what options he's got available. He throws it quickly. It's picked up by Isak, and it's knocked onto Gimaresh. Overlapping is Alan St. Maximin on the far side. He's got Semedo in front of him, but it's played forward again to Willock, and the cross comes in. And it goes out of, it just lobs into Jose Sar's hands, actually. Just slight deflection. And it's going to be Jose Sar now with the ball in his hand. And he drops it back to the number 23 there, Kilman. But he gives it back to Jose Sar, who this time clears the ball downfield longer. And it just goes over Raul Jimenez's head, and it's picked up by Sven Botman. Botman gives the ball to Dan Burn. Burn drops it back to Botman, looking at what options he's got available. It goes over the halfway line. Now he's got Trippier up there with him, but he goes for the long ball over to the far side to St. Maximin. St. Maximin's got some space in front of him. Pulls the ball back to Gimaresh. Gimaresh, is he fouled there? Yes, inside the D of the penalty area. It's going to be a free kick to Newcastle in a very dangerous position. We'll just take a look there. Yes, Gimaresh just had the ball there, and he was, yes, he was tripped up by Matinho there, just inside the D of the penalty area. And Newcastle have got options here. And Newcastle are now just lining up the free kick. They've got an entire committee there. Of course, they've of course got Jacob Murphy there. They've got Kieran Trippier there. And it may be Trippier's ideal position here. We'll see if he is going to strike it. We're on the 10-minute mark. And Jose Sarr is trying to organise his wall. In that wall is Longstaff, Byrne, and also Alexander Isak. But it does look like it's going to be Trippier. He's just lining things up. Excuse me. And just trying to see who else is there. That looks like that may be... yeah, that's Fabian Schär over it as well. But I do believe it's going to be Trippier. We've got a long wait. And as usual in these situations, you get the long wait. And often then afterwards, it's a bit of a disappointment. The referee just ensuring everybody is not moving forward. Trippier and Schär both setting back to take the free kick. We're going to see who's going to take it. They're both lined up. It's Trippier. It's blocked by the wall. The wall did its job. It was a bit low anyway. Here's Willock. Willock, a disappointing ball in, and it takes a deflection off Traore and comfortably goes into the arms of Jose Sarr. We've got a pleasant comment coming in on YouTube by Ben G. Thanks for the live commentary. It's great. You're very welcome, Ben. We're happy to bring it to you. Hope you enjoy the show. And the ball is cleared long that time by Kilman. And it's won back by Trippier. Trippier just drops the ball down, and it's picked up there by Podence. Podence has got space in front of him now for Wolves. Daniel Podence. And he drops the ball over to Neves. Neves down on the far side to Adama Traore. Chasing it there is Semedo. Semedo tries to get the cross in. But that is excellent work by Dan Byrne. Just gets a block in there. And it's going to go behind. And I don't know whether the official's going to give a corner here, because it may well have come off Semedo in the end anyway. We'll just take a look. It's good work by Dan Byrne. I think it is going to be a goal kick. And, or is it? Let's have a look here. We're just trying to see on my monitor exactly what is happening. We've got 12 minutes gone. Yes, it's going to be a goal kick. We've got 12 minutes gone here. It's Newcastle 0, Wolves 0, and it's cleared downfield by Nick Pope, England international. And it's won back here now by Longstaff. Longstaff plays the ball forward, and it's a very disappointing ball. Well, sure, he was looking for Murphy, but it just went all the way through to Jose Sarr. And both sides are looking with attacking intentions. Here's Adama Traore, but we haven't really seen the final ball yet for either side, and neither of the two goalkeepers have really been forced into any kind of a save. So taking the throw in now is Nelson Semedo, actually smack bang on the halfway line. Nelson Semedo. He just drops back into his own half, and he's just looking for options. He goes all the way back to Lamina. Sorry, stumbling over my words there. And here's Johnny now for Wolves. Wolves plays the ball out of play. Disappointing ball by Johnny, and it's going to be a throw into Newcastle midway inside the Wolves half of the field. Throw-in is going to be taken by Kieran Trippier, the captain. Trippier is midway inside the Wolves half. He throws it. He finds Longstaff. Longstaff just drops it back to Sven Botman. Botman has got options. And he gives it again to Longstaff. Out on the far side to Alan St. Maximin. St. Maximin now. Let's see what options he's got. He's looking. He's got overlapping. Is Dan Byrne. Drops it back to St. Maximin. St. Maximin about 30 yards out. Here's Gimaresh. Gimaresh tries to slip the ball to Byrne. Can he get the cross in? Oh, that's a good block by Semedo. And it's going to be another corner for Newcastle United as they turn the screws, hoping to take an early lead against relegation-threatened Wolverhampton Wanderers, who, of course, are just 3 points above the drop zone. 0-0 still. Corner to Newcastle United on the far side of the field there. And it's Kieran Trippier. It looks like he's going to in-swing this. He does, and it's headed away by Dawson, only as far as the edge of the penalty area. It's headed back in by Willock, and there's a head-on by Isak, but it's comfortable for Jose Sarr. Alexander Isak there looking for the opportunity. Got the header in, but it was too easy for Jose Sarr, really. And here's Lamina. Lamina slips it to Neves. And it goes back to Kilman, who gives the ball back to Lamina, who controls it and ultimately nearly gives the ball away. Johnny has to come back to help. Johnny drops it back to Kilman again. This time Kilman tries to go long, but it's a good block by Isak. Goes out of play, and it's going to be a throw-in to Wolverhampton Wanderers. Almost level with their own penalty area. This pressing by Newcastle is really pushing Wolves back at the moment. Johnny is going to take this throw-in. And he drops it back there to Kilman. Kilman tries to hack the ball away, but Newcastle ready there, and it's headed on, and Isak heads the ball on, but Maximilian Kilman just clearing it away. And it's long all the way into the Newcastle half of the field, which Sven Botman deals with. Botman gives it to Byrne, who in turn passes it to Alan St. Maximin. St. Maximin under pressure. No foul by Semedo. It goes all the way back to Botman. Botman, Longstaff. Longstaff to Gimaresh. Gimaresh down this near side now to Willock. And it's back with Gimaresh. Gimaresh in the midfield is comfortably dispossessed. And that's good work by Neves. He drops it back to Semedo. And here's Neves again. Played forward. He's looking for Adama Traore. Traore's got Botman and Byrne surrounding him, but he gets the cross in. It's comfortably cleared away by Shah. And it's headed back in by, knocked back in by Lamina and chasing it into the touchline there. It's Adama Traore, but it goes behind. It's going to be a goal kick. And Julen Lopetegui there just shouting out some instructions. Right now, when Wolves have come forward, the final ball just really hasn't been there for them. They haven't really been able to put together an opportunity so far. And there's Ruben Neves, the captain. And Newcastle, for me, have been slightly the better team in this first half so far. They've pressed Wolves back. And Nick Pope clears the ball downfield. The header is won by Kilman. It's back into the Newcastle half of the field, but Podence wins it back, plays the ball down towards the corner flag to Jimenez, but Jimenez is not able to control the ball, and it's gone out of play for a throw-in. It's going to be a throw-in to Newcastle, about 5 or 6 yards from the corner flag. It just gives Wolves the opportunity, of course, though, to get set in the Newcastle half. The throw-in is going to be taken by Trippier. And Trippier just throws it all the way back, and it's hacked away by Fabian Schär. Won in midfield, though, by Alexander Isak. He tries to turn Kilman. He was not successful. And Lamina just knocks it all the way across to Semedo. Semedo then just drops it back to Craig Dawson. Dawson down this near side to Johnny. Johnny just in front of his own penalty area, though. Johnny just gives it back to Semedo. And oh, that's a poor ball to Lamina, I should say. That is a poor ball. Lamina wasn't expecting it, and in the end has given the ball back to Newcastle. And it's now with Botman. Botman played forward looking for Isak. Isak, he just tried to turn Dawson there, but wasn't successful, and Wolves win the ball back. And here's Podence. Podence slips the ball to Neves. He's got space in front of him in the Newcastle half. Neves tries to get the cross in. Took a deflection, and Nick Pope just prevents it going behind for a corner. 18 minutes gone here at St James's Park. It's Newcastle 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0. You are listening to alternative commentary on the Commentary Hub YouTube channel. Today's player of the match sponsor on the Hub is sponsored by Commentary Services. Commentary Services would like to thank our broadcasting partners for this season, JB Sports and Storm FM. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Commentary Live 1, and you can like our Facebook page at facebook.com/the Commentary Hub. And here's Neves with the ball just inside the centre circle, inside his own half. He plays it to Podence. Podence has got options in front of him now. Podence slips the ball out wide to Adama Traore on the far side. Traore, he's got Dan Byrne in front of him. Played it back to the edge of the penalty area to Neves. Neves down on this near side to Johnny. Johnny just drops it back now. And it's picked up by Lameda, and he drops it back to Kilman. Back to Lameda. Lameda drops it back to Kilman, and pressing, really, Newcastle have done very, very well here. What started on the edge of the Newcastle penalty area, they press Wolves all the way back into their own half, and it's given away under that press. And here's Isak now, edge of the penalty area, slips it to Alan St. Maximin. St. Maximin overlapping is Dan Burn. Is he checked? He plays the ball across. It looked like he was blocked there, possibly illegally, but the referee said no, and it's cleared away. And it's back inside the Newcastle half of the field. Dan Burn just... Oh, and it's given away by Pope! It's on a penalty! Well, there's no appeal, actually, so maybe not. But, well, Pope just... it's going to be looked at by VAR. Well, we're going to see. The referee is having VAR look at this. Pope miscued it. And let's just take a look at this again. The ball came back... from Burn. Pope miscues it. Jimenez is in, and then it looks to me like that might be a trip, but Jimenez doesn't say anything. Well, there's contact, isn't there, but not much. It's going to be interesting to see what VAR says about this. The referee has just waved it away, so it looks like it is not going to be a penalty, although VAR did look at it. But we'll take a look at it against terrible control by Pope. Yeah, actually, the contact was there on Jimenez, but it was very, very minimal. I'm actually surprised he went down at all, because he was behind Nick Pope there. So, but it is going to be it's going to be no penalty, and the game is going to get back underway. And Nick Pope, it has to be said, was lucky to get away with that one. At the moment, we have Ruben Neves down right now, just receiving some treatment down by the touchline. The Wolves skipper. For Neves, of course, this season, he's been in sparkling form. And he's also got 5 goals, so he shares the leading goal scorer position with Daniel Podence, of course. And his performances this season have been excellent. He actually has had 1,539 passes and 62 tackles so far, Ruben Neves. So he's been critical to this revival to Wolves this season. We're just waiting for him to get on his feet. He's up now, and he's just moving a little gingerly. We'll see if that is an impact knock. Wolves can ill afford to lose him. And it's going to be, it's just going to have to go off now, because Andy Madley is going to send him off and let him back on again. And right now, we'll just see exactly. Fourth official, of course, Craig Pawson. He's having words with Lopetegui at the moment. And finally, we are back underway. Nick Pope just slips the ball to Fabian Schär. And Schär now slips the ball to Kieran Trippier. Trippier just inside his own half. Guimaraes drops it back to Trippier. Trippier back to Schär. Goes all the way back to goalkeeper Nick Pope. Looks a little bit better control this time by Pope. And it's Dan Burn over on the far side. Just under pressure at the moment. Once again by Adama Traore, who has really made life miserable so far on that far side for Dan Burn. And Wolves have the ball back now again. And the ball is long over on the far side there, looking for Adama Traore. Dan Burn trying to win that back, but Adama Traore just knocks the ball into the centre. But the only person that's there is Sven Botman. And Botman goes back to Nick Pope. Nick Pope cleared left-footed downfield. Doesn't make the halfway line. Willock challenging for that, but it's hooked on by Moutinho. And Moutinho is trying to find Adama Traore, but Dan Burn knocks the ball out of play, and it's going to be a throw-in to Wolverhampton Wanderers. The throw-in midway inside the Newcastle half of the field was taken quickly. Kilman slips the ball to Dawson. Dawson just inside his own half, played forward there. And here is Moutinho. Moutinho looking to set Adama Traore free, but here's Semedo. Semedo, he's got Dan Burn in front of him. See what options he's got. Semedo, he's got Neves up there along with him, drops it back to Traore. Traore plays the ball long over to this near side to Kilman. Kilman gives it to Neves. Neves back to Kilman, slips it to Johnny. And here's Kilman again. Plays the ball forward, looking. Oh, that's a comfortably won back by Trippier. And another move breaks down for Wolverhampton Wanderers. But wait just a moment. It's given away by Fabian Schär. Here's Neves. Neves slips the ball across there to Matinho. But it's blocked by Schär. Good work by him. And now Alan St. Maximin can break away. Looking for options is St. Maximin. And he's just been pressed back at the moment by Semedo. And in the end, he chooses to go back to Byrne, and Byrne plays it over to Isak. Isak just over the halfway line, across to St. Maximin, charging at the Newcastle penalty area. Actually, it's Joe Willock. Joe Willock played across, looking for Isak, and it's cleared away. It's back now with Willock again. Willock now plays the ball to St. Maximin. Back to Willock. Willock, edge of the penalty area, swings across in, and it's hacked away by Dawson, and only as far as the centre circle, though. And here's Longstaff, just slips it back to Schär. Schär, and he's fouled there. That'll be a free kick. The foul is by Raul Jimenez, midway inside the Wolverhampton Wanderers half of the field. So we've got a free kick here. And you can see here it was just a clip there on Schär by Raul Jimenez. And it's going to be a free kick. And I suspect over this one will be Trippier. And it is. And there is also Jacob Murphy there as well. But Trippier is moving away. And it's going to be a free kick now to Newcastle, which Trippier is going to take. And he's just looking for options. It's high line by Wolves. And it's swung in there. And there's a header by Isak! And Newcastle take the lead! And a header from just inside the penalty area beats Jose Sarr to his right side. And Alexander Isak gives Newcastle a 1-0 lead after 26 minutes. And, well, the pressing by Newcastle, you have to say it may have been coming, but it's a wonderful cross by Kieran Trippier. The free kick was all of about 40 yards out, but it was swung in, and Isak there with the header. And you have to say Wolves did not get close enough to Alexander Isak. It was too easy for him, really. There was 3 defenders, and not one of them were close enough. And in the end, they've been punished by a header by Alexander Isak as he celebrates, and Newcastle United take a 1-goal lead. Well, Wolves are going to look at that, I would say, and Lopetegui will not be happy with that defending as the game is back underway now. And here's Johnny. Johnny plays the ball forward to Podence. Podence drops it back to Lamina, and Lamina gives it to Craig Dawson. Dawson moves the ball forward. Here is Adama Traore looking now to get Wolves back into this. Traore just beating 2 or 3 defenders, but it's going to be cleared away there by Willock. It's a long ball on the far side to Alan St. Maximin. St. Maximin, long ball. Here's Isak again. Can he punish Wolves again? Here's Isak. He's going to cut inside, place the ball across. So the ball's bouncing around there, and there's a chance for Murphy, and it's blocked. And it goes behind for a corner. Isak is claiming something else, but it looks like, let's take a look at this again. Isak got inside the Wolves' defence again, cuts inside, and he plays the ball across instead of shooting. The ball just breaks loose to Murphy and comes in the end off Dawson and goes behind for a goal, for a corner kick. And the corner is it going to be a corner kick? Let's see. Yes, it is. It's Kieran Trippier is going to take it. And this is the 3rd Newcastle corner of this game as Isak continues to make a pain of himself inside that Wolves defence. The corner is swung in. It's headed away by Dawson. Only to the edge of the penalty area, but Wolves can break away now. But Traore miscontrols that, and Newcastle win the ball back. And here's Trippier. Trippier's got options in front of him. They're not closing him down. Trippier goes all the way into the penalty area. And the Wolves defence once again just stepped back and just allowed him to wander into the penalty area. Finally, Wolves do come away with it now with Nelson Semedo. Semedo He drops the ball back to Neves, and this is Wolves need to wake up a little bit. The Wolfpack here defensively are absolutely falling asleep, and if they want to get back into this game now, here's Semedo. And it's dropped forward back to Semedo off Matinho. It's headed on again by Traore, and here's Raul Jimenez. Jimenez to Podence, back to Jimenez. Jimenez with a shot, and it's a comfortable save in the end, really, by Nick Pope, a save you would expect him to make. And he drops the ball loose to St. Maximum. St. Maximum sending Willock on his way. Isaac storming into the penalty area. And the shot comes in and it's blocked. And good work there by Kilmer blocking that shot. And now Neves clears the ball away. Only as far as, he was looking for Adama Traore, but it missed Adama Traore. In the end, only found Fabian Schär. Schär gives it to Sven Botman. As we approach the half-hour mark, it is Newcastle United 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0. And Dan Burn has the ball. And Newcastle, they're looking control of this game now. Here's Guimaraes. Been fairly quiet. There's Willock. Willock drops it to St. Maximum. Willock gets the ball back, though. Overlapping now, Willock. He's going to cut inside. He's looking for options is Joe Willock. He's right on the edge of the penalty area. Plays it into Isaac. Willock gets the ball back with a cross. And nobody is there. How unfortunate for Newcastle. But the clearance is not good enough. And it goes to the edge of the penalty area. Murphy strikes it. The cross comes back in again. And it's St. Maximum now, still in the penalty area. St. Maximum, is he going to get the cross in? He does, but it's headed away by Dawson. But Newcastle pounding on the door here. Guimaraes drops it back to Longstaff. Longstaff over on the far side now. Here's Trippier again. Trippier drops it back to Murphy. Murphy tries to just beat two Newcastle players. In the end, it drops back to Longstaff. Longstaff gives it to Trippier. Still 1-0 here. Guimaraes holds onto the ball, but he's fouled on Matinho, and it's going to be a free kick. Well, Newcastle, since this one-goal lead, and really before the one-goal lead, they really have been the better side. Wolves a little bit falling asleep, a little bit at the back, punished already once. This was a blatant foul. There was no question this was a free kick. Guimaraes just getting to his feet, and Podence looks like he's going to set the only wall. And there's our referee, Andy Madley, and the free kick is it's almost level. It's not quite level with the Wolves penalty area, but it's going to be Trippier again, who's going to swing in another one. And Wolves lining up in the defence, hoping for a more solid defensive challenge on this free kick. Trippier just waiting. And Andy Madley just watching everything before he allows his free kick to be taken. It's taken now. Trippier swings it in. Oh, it's flicked on. And it lands in the arms of Jose Sarr. The header really wasn't a good one there, and it just kind of flicked on and landed into Jose Sarr. He releases it quickly, looking for Adama Traore, but he's muscled out of the play that time, and it's knocked back by Fabian Schär to the goalkeeper, Nick Pope, who releases it quickly, and Alan St. Maximum goes over the halfway line. Storming forward is St. Maximum now. He plays the ball to Isaac in the penalty area. It's Isaac again. Goodness me, Isaac has been a pain, but he gives the ball away that time to Neves, and Neves clears it. And Wolves now looking, that's another poor ball, but it's just about kept in play. But loses it there is Raul Jimenez, and Newcastle have the ball back. And it's Alan St. Maximin again, approaching the penalty area. St. Maximin drops it to Willock. Willock cuts inside. Willock gets a shot away. It's blocked by Dawson. Back to Isaac with a shot. And it's also blocked by Kilman. And it's going to be another corner to Newcastle, as Newcastle turning the screws in the last 10 minutes in this first half. And they are really purring right now. And Wolves are really under a lot of pressure right now. It's difficult to see where they are going to get themselves back into this game if this continues. The corner is going to be taken by Trippier on the far side. I get the feeling he's probably going to swing this one in, folks. And We'll just see. As it stands, it looks like he is. Newcastle are now 4 points outside of a Champions League place, where Spurs sit right now. If the score stays the same, they do have 2 games in hand over Spurs. So it's swung in and just headed away by Jimenez, but only as far as Willock with a shot, which is blocked again, and it goes behind for a corner. And it's going to be another corner, which Kieran Trippier is going to take. And it's going to be swung in one more time. Kieran Trippier. It's deep and all the way over to the back post. And oh, it's off the crossbar by Gimaresh. Oh, it went all the way to the back post. It looked for, I mean, I suspect the Wolves players were expecting it to go out of play. Well, it was kept in by Longstaff and headed onto the crossbar by Bruno Gimaresh. The corner came in, it looked all for going wide, but somehow Longstaff kept it in, and it was headed from I would say from 4 yards, 3 yards out even, onto the crossbar, and it goes out of play for a throw-in. But that was a golden opportunity for Gimaresh. You have to say he should have made that too. So the throw-in is going to be taken, and it's going to be taken by Kieran Trippier, level with the Wolverhampton Wanderers penalty area. Trippier throws it to Murphy. Trippier gets it back with the cross in. It's just headed away there by Kilman. Not quite out of play, but it's going to be ushered out of play by Trippier. And arguing on the far side there is Podence, said he was illegally muscled out of play by Trippier. So it's going to be another throw to Newcastle. 1-0 to Newcastle. 9 minutes to go till half time. And the throw-in is not a great one. And Raul Jimenez is trying to break away now. But that's good work by Longstaff, who wins the ball back for Newcastle. And here is St. Maximin to Willock. Back to St. Maximin. St. Maximin looking for the options. Oh, he's under pressure by 2 Wolves defenders there. Semedo being one of them, but he turns to St. Maximin and gets the cross in, but it's blocked by Semedo. And St. Maximin is trying to lift this Newcastle crowd to get behind them some more. Well, the players have certainly done their part, and I am absolutely with 100% sure that the Newcastle crowd will do their part, because this is always a great atmosphere at St James's Park. It's a 6th corner for Newcastle, and it's going to be swung in again by Kieran Trippier, and it's long again, and again Longstaff was trying to get over to try to keep that in play. This time it was a bit too far out of his reach, and it will be a goal kick. And you are listening to Alternative Commentary on the Commentary Hub YouTube channel. Today's Player of the Match sponsor on the Hub is sponsored by Commentary Services. Commentary Services would like to thank our broadcasting partners for this season, JB Sports and Storm FM. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Commentary Live 1, and you can like our Facebook page at facebook.com/The Commentary Hub. So thank you once again for joining us. And the goal kick is taken quickly, and here is Podence, plays the ball forward. He's got the ball now. Look at this. In a moment, I'm going to go through the attempts on goal, which tell the story. But it's that move breaks down for Wolves, goes back to Pope, and he clears it. 10 attempts by Newcastle, only 1 for Wolves so far, and that really tells the story of how this first half has gone. Wolves, of course, I don't think they can afford to lose this game. Given their situation, the relegation battle, it's 3 points separating them and all the teams that are down there. It's certainly an interesting battle right now. Here's Neves inside the centre circle. He drops the ball out over on the far side to Semedo. Semedo gives it back to Adama Traore. The ball is long on the far side now to Podence. Podence cuts inside. Shot! Oh, he hits the post! Daniel Podence cut inside and right out of nowhere struck that shot, and Pope was beaten, and it hit his right-hand post just on the outside. Podence cuts inside, gets a shot away, well, looking at it again, Pope may or may not have had it covered. It's difficult to say, but it just smacked the outside of the post, and that is as close as Wolves has come in this first half. And to be honest, that would have been very harsh on Newcastle had it have gone in, but it was a good attempt by Podence. and you're listening to Paul James. I'm your alternative commentator today. We have Russ Vernon in the studio. You'll hear from him at half time. And we have got 5 minutes to go till half time. And the ball is played forward, looking for Jimenez. It actually finds It actually finds Semedo. Semedo gets inside the penalty area, gets a cross in, but it's cleared away by Botman, and Newcastle now can come forward. And here's Isak, Alexander Isak again, looking to torment that Wolves defence again. Isak pulled back there to Willock, and Willock just was not able to control the ball, and it's cleared out of play by Dawson. It's going to be a throw into Newcastle, and it's back with Trippier now. Trippier back to Murphy. Murphy cuts into the penalty area, plays the ball across, looking for Willock. Willock to St. Maximin. St. Maximin gets a shot and it's blocked by Semedo. And it's St. Maximin again. St. Maximin just pulls the ball back to Dan Burn, and it's Bruno Guimaraes. Guimaraes. And it's a long shot there by Joe Willock, and it is into the arms of Jose Sarr. And it's Newcastle 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0, with 5 minutes to go until the break. And it's Jose Sarr now who has the ball at his feet. He's just going to give the ball to Maximilian Kilman. And Kilman now plays the ball forward as far as Daniel Podence. Podence plays the ball across to Adama Traore. Traore has got Semedo overlapping on the far side. Does he spot him? He does. Semedo chasing this one, but it's just a bit too far for him. And Dan Burn gets across and knocks the ball out of play. It's going to be a throw-in to to Newcastle. And I want to say it's almost level with the Wolverhampton Wanderers penalty area. With the Newcastle penalty area, and the throw-in is taken quickly. And over on that far side is Johnny, and he tries to play Neves, but the ball breaks loose really, and ends up back in the Wolves half of the field, and it's Lamina. Lamina slips the ball to Neves. Neves, and here's Podence looking for the overlapping Adama Traore. Traore got Dan Burn in front of him. Traore gets across him, but good block by Dan Burn, and it's going to be Wolves' first corner of the game. And good work by Dan Burn, just blocking Adama Traore's cross there. And it's going to be a corner to Wolves, as mentioned, their first corner of the game. And I'm just trying to see who it is over on the far side that's taken it. It's Matinho. Matinho looks like he may outswing this one. Indeed he does. And the header is on, and it breaks loose, but Willock there, Willock almost got there, but just nipping in front of him was Neves, but he was only able to keep the ball in play. The ball broke loose from him, and now Willock has the ball. Willock, just inside his own half of the field, plays the ball into the centre circle to Isak. Isak just turns away from Matinho, or tries to. Good challenge by Matinho. But Willock is just trying to win the ball back from Matinho. He wasn't successful, and here's Podence. Podence, but a good challenge that time by Isak, and he gives the ball on the far side to Alan St. Maximin. St. Maximin just running at this Wolves defence. St. Maximin drops the ball back to Isak. Isak just drops the ball then to Longstaff, and Longstaff plays a disappointing ball into the penalty area. It's comfortably cleared by Dawson, but Guimaraes has the ball back now inside the Wolves half of the field, and here's Murphy. Murphy again picks it up on the edge of the penalty area. He's fouled there. We're going to see our first yellow card. Just trying to see who that's pointed at. It's pointed at Daniel Podence. So we have our first yellow card of the game. He's rolling around on the floor a little bit. It's Podence right now, but the referee will wait until he gets onto his feet. And the first thing he sees is the yellow card flashed at him. It was a late challenge. I think he knows that. I don't think there can be any doubt at all, but the free kick is in a very dangerous position. I want to say it's maybe 22 yards out, and it's down this side, down the right-hand side, just a few yards away from the D. So this may be swung in by Trippier, and he's just looking now. He's lining this one up anyway. And We have a minute to go till half time, and it's Newcastle 1, Wolves 0. Might be interesting to see how long Craig Pawson shows on the board for injury time. Murphy is also over this one, but it looks like it is going to be Trippier. Trippier is going to just curl the ball in. He does, and it's a disappointing one, but the header isn't a very good one. And it's back out now to Longstaff over there on the far side, but it's cleared away comfortably in the end, and it's going to be a throw-in. And the throw-in is way inside the Wolverhampton half of the field, and it looks like it's going to be taken by Dan Burn. Dan Burn just drops the ball back to Sven Botman. He's just trying to turn away from Raul Jimenez there, and he drops the ball back to Nick Pope. Nick Pope clears the ball right-footed downfield. It's a poor ball by Pope, though, and comfortably headed back to his own goalkeeper by Johnny and Jose Sa now. And we have 2 minutes of injury time. I didn't figure that there'd be much more than that. The stoppages we had, the only real stoppage we had was Neves, who was down for a couple of minutes. I think 2 minutes is probably an appropriate amount. It's back with Jose Sa now. Jose Sa gives the ball to Max Kilman. Kilman plays the ball forward, and it's won back by Trippier, who slips the ball now to Isak. Isak's got space in front of him, but Maximilian Kilman just dispossesses Isak and actually plays it off the Swede, and it goes out of play for a throw-in. And it's going to be a throw-in to Wolverhampton, level with their own penalty areas. We've already played a minute of injury time here, and the camera there is just on one of the ball boys at the moment. Johnny plays the ball forward. And here's Adama Traore. Oh, terrible giveaway by Traore. And here is Willock. And now, Willock's pass was also equally disappointing, and the move breaks down. But Newcastle do maintain possession with Alan St. Maximin. St. Maximin gives the ball back to Willock. He's got another opportunity. Better ball this time, but it's to Longstaff, who's dispossessed. And Wolves breaking forward now with Podence. Podence to Neves, storming over the halfway line. Gives the ball to Adama Traore. Adama Traore. It's inside the penalty area, and he drops it back to Neves. Neves, can he get the cross in? Or it's just headed into the air by Fabian Schär, but only as far as Podence. Podence slips the ball to Johnny. Johnny, right by the touchline, gives it to Podence. Podence drops it back to Moutinho. Moutinho cross into the penalty area, headed out, but only as far as Neves. Neves, well, he just loses the ball there, does Neves, and now Newcastle breaking away. But that's it. Andy Madley blows for half-time. Well, despite the Newcastle possession and the Newcastle chances, there is only one goal separating the two sides, and that's by Alexander Isak on the 26th minute with a header that beat Jose Sa to his right-hand side. So half-time here at St James's Park in a very absorbing contest. It's Newcastle United 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0. Back to you, Ross.
Thank you very much there to PJ. We'll be back with us in plenty of time for the start of the second half. We're going to just go through some of the other scores for you, as we can do that right now for it today. How the other games have been getting on today so far, and what the latest scores are in the other matches, which kicked off at the same time this afternoon. So we'll start off in the Premier League. Fulham 0, Arsenal 3. Manchester United 0, Southampton 0. West Ham United 1, Aston Villa 1. And as you've heard, at half time, Newcastle United 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0. EFL Championship. Norwich City 0, Sunderland 1. FA Women's Super League. Chelsea 1, Manchester United 0. Brighton and Hove Albion 1, Manchester City 2. Liverpool 2, Tottenham Hotspur 1. Leicester City 0, Everton 0. West Ham United 1, Aston Villa 2. Evening kickoff Arsenal v Reading. Evening kickoff at 6:45. FA Women's Championship. Birmingham City 2, Charlton Athletic 2, Bristol City 3, Durham 0, London City Lionesses 3, lose 1, Sheffield United 0, Crystal Palace 1, Southampton 0, Blackburn Rovers 0, Sunderland 3, Coventry United 0, French Ligue 1, Clermont 0, Rennes 4, AC Ajaccio 0, Montpellier 1, Angers 0, Toulouse 2, Lorient 2, Troyes 0, Nantes 2, Nice 2, Monaco 0, Reims 1, Marseille v Strasbourg evening kickoff at 7:45. The Monaco v Reims is the latest score. German Bundesliga. Freiburg 2, Offenheim 1. Werder Bremen 1, Leverkusen 1 is a half-time score. Wolfsburg against Union Berlin is a 6:30 p.m. kickoff. Italian Serie A. Lecce 0, Torino 2, Cremonese 0, Fiorentina 2, Verona 1, Monza 1, AS Roma 0, Sassuolo 2 is the latest score. Juventus v Sampdoria evening kickoff at 7:45. Northern Ireland Irish League Cup final. Linfield 2, Coleraine 0. Scottish Cup. Rangers 3, Wraith Rovers 0. Spanish La Liga Primera. Mallorca 1, Real Sociedad 1. Sevilla 2, Almeria 1. Villarreal v Real Betis evening kickoff at 5:30. Athletic Bilbao v Barcelona evening kickoff at 8 p.m. USA MLS Major League Soccer. Charlotte 0, Atlanta 3. Vancouver Whitecaps 1, FC Dallas 1. And then also to go through and tell you about from the USA MLS. Cincinnati 1, Seattle Sounders 0. DC United 1, Orlando City 1. New York City 1, Inter Miami 0. Philadelphia Union 1, Chicago Fire 0. Toronto FC 1, Columbus Crew 1. Minnesota United 1, New York Red Bulls 1. Nashville SC 2, CF Montreal 0. Sporting Kansas City 0, LA Galaxy 0. Real Salt Lake 1, Austin 2. Portland Timbers 1, St. Louis City 2. San Jose Earthquakes 1, Colorado Rapids 0. And then there's one more game in the MLS at 2:30 a.m. Monday morning. That's Los Angeles FC against the New England Revolution. That's all our scores to tell you about. And we'll just look back on this first half, and it's been a good first half for me. I think, as Paul Riley mentioned, Newcastle probably just shaded the first half. St James's Park. Just looking at the penalty claim again, and for Wolves at the end on 20 minutes, and it does look like Pope does clip Raul Jimenez as he went down inside the penalty area. There, the referee didn't give the penalty in the end though, and waved play on. Newcastle lead by a goal to 0 thanks to that Alexander Isak header, where you saw a lot of joy from Eddie Howe. and his coaching staff as well. And he did a knee slide across to the corner flag on the right hand side from where going running across to where the free kick came in from, and it was a fantastic free kick. We're just going to take a quick break, but we're returning plenty enough time for you to get the second half action. You're listening to the Commentary Hub. Welcome back to the Commentary Hub after our short break, and we'll get ready for the second half. Paul James has made his way back to the commentary position for us this afternoon. I can fetch him in right now. And Paul has been for me, I think it's been a good first half. Newcastle probably just shared it, like you mentioned, on commentary during that first half. But I'm just seeing the penalty incident again for Wolves, and it did look like a penalty, look like Pope tripped Jimenez from what I've just seen again at half time. What did you make to that first half, and who do you think will be the happier of the two managers at half time?
Well, I think the statistics show that Newcastle were a better team in the first half. I think Eddie Howe will be very pleased with the first half performance. He might be a little bit concerned that they didn't add to that lead. I mean, Gimaresh, of course, heading onto the crossbar from 3 yards out, really should have made it 2-0. As for the penalty incident, Russ, I think there was contact. There was definitely contact for sure, and I have seen them given, but I can see why they didn't give it. Um, the contact was minimal in my mind, but at the end of the day, the decision is going to go either way, isn't it? It's when you're dealing with VAR and you're dealing with these incidents, some we've seen are given and some we've seen are not. So it doesn't surprise me that it wasn't given.
Yes, and overall in that first half, Paul, as you mentioned during commentary, Newcastle probably just shared a day. If you was in Lopetegui's shoes right now, what would you be saying and what would you be changing from that first half performance?
Well, they have to press more in the second half. They're being outpressed by Newcastle. They of course have hit the post. Podence hit the post in the first half, and but beyond that, they haven't really created much. They have to press more, and the final ball has to be better. Looking at what options that they have on the bench, they've got attacking options, and they've got a couple of midfielders, of course. Mateus Nunes and João Gomez are options, and Pedro Neto, Huang Hee Chan, and Mateus Kuno are also options on the bench. It'd be interesting to see if he does make any substitutions in that first half. We'll wait and see. But for me, I think if they've not made any changes by at the 60th minute, I'll be very surprised if the score stays as it is.
Yes, and when you look at it from a Newcastle standpoint, Eddie Howe probably must be pleased with his side's performance. Yeah, Newcastle, yeah, Wolves, as you mentioned, have hit the post. Newcastle allowed him into from to the post as well. But not really give him that many opportunities, so he must be happy with the way his team's playing. And what do you think he'd be saying right now? And what do you want to see more from Newcastle in that second half, if anything?
Well, I think for Newcastle, I think they've really played quite well in the first half. They've controlled the midfield. They've pressed well. They've pushed Wolves back. I suppose that the one thing you could say about Newcastle would be they need to take their chances more. Uh, Maybe improve a little bit with the final ball as well. But the chances that they have had, perhaps Newcastle should be maybe two or perhaps possibly three in front by now.
Yes, and I've just seen the goal again, Paul, as we get ready for the second half in a few minutes or so. And poor defending from Wolves allowed him. It was a free header there. There were people around him, and then they split off away from him and allowed him a free header there. And I was a bit surprised to see there was a free header in there for Isak in the end. Was you surprised there was a free header for Isak as well?
I'm surprised at Wolves defensively this season, period. At this time last year, Wolves had the second best defensive record in the league behind only Manchester City. This season, it's been a complete change. The actual situation for Wolves now is that they're actually, obviously because of their league position, they're scoring less, but they've actually conceded an average of 1.35 goals against. That's a high average when you consider that Newcastle's is only 0.71. That's a really high average goals per game allowance, and that wasn't happening last season. So I don't know what's happened at Wolves in terms of defensive capability, but it's been pretty poor. And you're absolutely correct. It was dreadful defending that led up to that goal.
Yes, and but Newcastle, though, yes, I know we've mentioned a few times, and you in commentary, Wolves have gone in the post a few times. But if Wolves are to take anything from this game, it managed. If they were to take, if they'd taken the points away a bonus, or anything other than the 3 points from this game, thing that probably could take from it is learning how to defend, because Newcastle are showing him how to defend first class.
Yeah, Newcastle are defending very well, but that's been Newcastle all season. Remember, you're looking at a side that has 12 clean sheets this season. They've been very, very strong defensively all season long. They're running at a 0.71 goals against average, which is a measly amount. And with 12 clean sheets this season as well, and their heaviest defeat only being 2-0, you're looking at a side that is extremely strong defensively. And although Adama Traore is giving Dan Burn a workout, and Daniel Podence on the other side, you have to say that it's Newcastle's backline is holding very firm.
Yes, and Wolves are not just about to make their way back out onto the field of play right now. I think the teams are just about to come out of the tunnel of the second half, and it looks like Newcastle are going to be unchanged. But going to what I've seen here, Paul, there's going to be a change for Wolverhampton Wanderers, which I'll let you tell our listeners about that change as we hand back over to you now for the second half. As we hand back over to our match monitor for the second half. It's back over to you, PJ, from your friend Duncan. Cheers for that, JB.
Welcome back, everybody. Thanks, Ross. If there has been a change for the Wolves lineup, I haven't seen it yet. I'm just trying to figure out who it might be, but we'll know in a moment. It looks like there is going to be a change, but I'm just seeing who it is. Coming on, it looks like it's Pedro Neto who is on, and we're just trying to see who the player is replaced at this time. But Neto is on, and I am just going to try to figure out for you who the replacement is. It is Adama Traore. So Traore is off, and Neto is on, which is interesting. I thought Adama Traore was one of Wolves' better players in the first half, but that's the change that has been made. And the second half is underway with Wolverhampton Wanderers now attacking the goal to our right. And here's Maximilian Kilman. And he plays the ball long over, looking for Raul Jimenez. And Jimenez is chasing it into the penalty area. Jimenez gets a cross in. And it just seems to escape Neto, who's going to be wearing the number 7 shirt for Wolves today. And here's Semedo. He drops it back to Neto. Neto gives it back to Neves. Neves to Lamina. Lamina's ball is really disappointing. He was looking for Johnny on the far side, and now Newcastle can break with Isak. But good work in the midfield by Martinho, taking the ball away from Isak, and Wolves coming back the other way now. That substitution just being confirmed. Oh, it's a disappointing ball. Oh, that ball was absolutely dreadful from Podence. Well, it goes out of play, but he was looking for Johnny on the far side, but was absolutely nowhere near him, and it's going to be a throw in, and it's Kieran Trippier to take the throw in. And he gives it to Willock. Willock is dispossessed comfortably, though, as Wolves now start the second half positively. Here's Dawson. Dawson, long ball over on the far side. Well, he was looking for Johnny, but again, that ball is wayward as Johnny looks frustratingly back. And the throw-in is taken quickly, and it's launched forward, and it's knocked out of play by Jacob Murphy. It's going to be a throw-in to Wolves. Here's Lamina. Lamina crosses the halfway line now. Let's see what options he's got. Lamina drops it back to Neto, and Neto drops it back to Dawson. Dawson plays the ball down this near side to Semedo. Semedo cuts in field, and he gives the ball to Lamina. Lamina just looking at what options are available. He gives it to Neves. Neves just drops the ball to Kilman. Patient build up by Wolves here. Here's Johnny. Johnny gives the ball to Neves. Neves back with Dawson. Wolves, just the Wolf pack, just really looking for a way through. And the ball is played forward, and it's picked up here by Neto. Neto. Well, Martinho almost taking the ball off Neto there, but Neto keeps it and drops it to Kilman. Kilman back to Neves on the edge of the penalty area. Neves with a shot, but it goes wide, and that brings an end to that Wolverhampton Wanderers attack. It was a long shot by Neves, really. It wasn't really anywhere near the goal, but it's positive play by Wolves, and Lopetegui will be happy with that. And we have a goal kick, which Nick Pope will take. And you are listening to alternative commentary on the Commentary Hub YouTube channel. Today's Player of the Match sponsor on the Hub is sponsored by Commentary Services. Commentary Services would like to thank our broadcasting partners for this season, JB Sports and Storm FM. And don't forget, you can follow us on Twitter at Commentary Live 1. And you can like our Facebook page, facebook.com/the Commentary Hub. And the ball now is with Dan Burn. Dan Burn plays the ball over the halfway line. Well, he's perhaps looking for St. Maximin, but he's not there. And Dawson is there just to clear it up and gives it back to Jose Sarr. Chasing him down is Alexander Isak. And, Jose Sarr played the ball to Kilman, but Isak really chased him down. And in the end, Kilman had to play the ball off Isak, and it went behind for a goal kick. So Wolves still a little bit sloppy and disjointed at the back. And it's a goal kick now with Jose Sarr. And he's going to take it. It's going to be It's going to be right-footed downfield. And it's long and looking for Raul Jimenez in the air. Did Jimenez foul Shah? The referee said yes. Jimenez is protesting, but the free kick has in fact been given by Andy Madley. And we will have a free kick. You can see Eddie Howe there just trying to pass on instructions. The free kick, which is inside the Newcastle half of the field, will be taken by Fabian Shah. And Shah has the ball here. He just gives the ball back to Sven Botman, and Botman just gives it to Byrne, and it goes back to Botman. Botman inside his own half just launches it long. It's knocked on. It looks like that may go. No, it's kept in play by Willock, who plays the ball forward looking for Isak, and cleared up at the back is Kilman. Good work by him that time, and he gives the ball back to Jose Sarr, and Jose Sarr's pass was short, but Dawson was awake to it. And once again at the back, Wolves, they just don't look like they're communicating well at the back. And Kilman just puts his foot through that one in an attempt to try to clear it, but it's knocked on by Alan St. Maximin and cleared away by Craig Dawson. It's going to be a throw-in. 5 minutes gone in the second half. It's Newcastle United 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0. And Dan Burn is just taking this one. Byrne just drops it back to Willock and gives it back to Byrne. Byrne goes all the way back into his own half to Sven Botman, who goes back to Nick Pope. And Nick Pope again! And the goalkeeping, really, by both sides, the handling of the ball at the feet is, it's very casual, if I want to put it like that. Pope was nearly dispossessed for a second time there. And it was Raul Jimenez again on the doorstep. He's down now, is Raul Jimenez at the moment. But you can see he's just sliding in there, and he almost takes the ball away from Nick Pope again. Well, at the moment, Raul Jimenez is just on his feet, but it looks like he's picked up a bit of a knock. He's just trying to run that off right now. And there's Nick Pope, who needs to be careful. He was almost punished in the first half for a similar error. And it's going to be a throw-in. Let's get this game back underway. Dan Byrne, midway inside his own half. He tries to knock the ball onto Willock, but Willock just ends up not being able to control it, goes out of play, and Nelson Semedo takes the throw-in. Takes the ball and gives it to Dawson, and Dawson clears it forward, looking for Neto, but good work defensively by Sven Botman. Gives it back to Pope, and Pope releases it quickly. And here's Jacob Murphy now on our side. The ball is out of play. It's going to be a throw-in. Jacob Murphy is going to be the one that takes it. Murphy was going to take it, but he leaves it now for Kieran Trippier. It's level with the Wolves penalty area. Kieran Trippier. And 1-0 still the score. Trippier, he just gave it to Joe Willock, but Joe Willock, instead of just dropping it back to Kieran Trippier, he gets it wrong, and it comes off Willock and goes behind, rolls behind slowly for a goal kick, and that attack by Newcastle breaks down. And it's back with Jose Sarr now. Sarr just gives it to Kilman. Kilman plays the ball long, and it's picked up by Podence, and Podence looks like he's received a knock there off Guimaraes. And Guimaraes is saying no, but I think the referee has called something there. And here is Neves. Neves plays the ball long over to Semedo on the far side. He heads it on, and chasing this one down is Neto, but he's not able to keep the ball in play. And it's going to be a throw into Newcastle, about 7 yards from the corner flag, inside their own half. And Julian Lopetegui, they're just looking a little unhappy with things right now. The throw-in taken quickly. Isak tries to pull away from Dawson, but he was not successful. And here's Lamina now for Wolves. Lamina out on the far side to Johnny. Johnny just drops the ball back there to Max Kilman. And he plays the ball across to Dawson. Dawson plays the ball forward, and Dan Byrne wins it back. And it's just kept in play that time by Alan St. Maximum, and Isak now moving forward easily beats Dawson, and he goes down under the pressure from Semedo, but the referee's not giving anything there. Now Wolves storming over the halfway line with Daniel Podence. He's stopped in his tracks there by Fabian Schär, and now Newcastle can come forward with Bruno Guimaraes. Guimaraes gives the ball to St. Maximan. Overlapping is Willock. Is he going to find him? He does. It's in the penalty area. It's Joe Willock. Willock gets across him, but it's blocked by Jose Sarr. Only as far as St. Maximan at the corner of the 6-yard box. St. Maximan drops it back to Guimaraes. Guimaraes plays the ball over on the far side to Trippier. Trippier overlapping is Longstaff, but Trippier plays the ball long over to Willock. Willock now. And Willock just plays the ball to Botman across, and it's headed out and out of play for a throw-in by Semedo. And Dan Byrne is going to take this throw-in. We're almost level with the 6-yard box, and it's St. Maximin. St. Maximin back to Byrne, back to St. Maximin. St. Maximin loses possession, and now Neto is breaking away for Wolves with intent. He slips the ball to Podence. Podence approaches the penalty area. He gets the cross in, and it's headed away by Sven Botman. And once again, Newcastle holding their defensive line well. Here's Lamina. Lamina, it's back with Matinho. Matinho down on the far side now to Johnny. Johnny's got Jacob Murphy in front of him. Johnny just cutting back. And here is Dawson. Dawson, long ball over, chasing that one is Semedo. He should make it. Indeed he does. He's going to get the cross in. Semedo, he drops it back. It's crossed in by Matinho, but it's blocked. Well done that time by Willock. But it's still on the edge of the penalty area, and a foul on Podence by Bruno Guimaraes. And we are going to have a free kick in a very dangerous position. And you see Guimaraes there as Podence turns. Well, it's about 20 yards out, really. And what an opportunity this is for Wolves, who really haven't had much of an opportunity with this Newcastle defence playing the way that it has. The actual, I'd say about 20 yards out. It's really on the D, actually. And it's just towards, if you're looking at it from the screen angle, if you're actually watching this and listening to the commentary, it's on the D towards this near side of the field. And there's a number of players surrounding this. And Nick Pope is desperately trying to organise his wall. And we've got 57 minutes gone. It's Newcastle 1, Wolves 0. You see Willock in there, Isak in there, Botman in there, and Burn at the wall. And over this one is Neto. Is Neto going to get the shot away? It's not going to be Neto. Well, it is ultimately Neto! Oh, a wonderful save by Nick Pope. Well, that was just sneaking in under the crossbar. But Nick Pope just gets his hands up to make a really smart save. And Newcastle are on the break. It's Jacob Murphy. Is he fouled there? Well, he is, and there's going to be a card. Jacob Murphy was away there from that free kick on the break. And there's going to be a card, and I'm just trying to see who that card is being flashed at. It might be, yes, it's Semedo. So it's Semedo's foul. And you can just see here the slip through there to Jacob Murphy, who was away. You might argue he was the last man, but it's the fact there was, yes, he had his hands on him. I still think he went down easily, but he had his hands on him. So it just came from that free kick that was, yeah, it was just rolled back by Matinho to Neto, struck that shot. It was a smart save, but it just bounced off Nick Pope's hands, and that allowed Newcastle to just take off quickly. So we've got a free kick now, 26 yards out. There's a number of players over this, including Shah, Murphy, and Trippier. Shah moves away, and Murphy moves away as well. It looks like it's going to be Trippier. And I think he's going to just swing this one in. Like I said, about 25 yards out, just at a guess. But it's almost at the corner of the penalty area. And it's swung in by Trippier. Oh, in the end, he goes for the shot. He actually goes for the shot ultimately. It's a smart save by Jose Sarr. And here's St. Maximin trying to dance into the penalty area. St. Maximin surrounded by 3 Wolves players. Matinho being one of them who wins the ball back. And here's Neto. And, well, there's the referee's whistle has just blown up there. So there's been a stoppage in play. Well, that's going on. And here is Dawson. Dawson goes back to the goalkeeper. So I'm just going to complete my marketing duties now. You are listening to Alternative Commentary on the Commentary Hub YouTube channel. Today's Player of the Match sponsor on the Hub is sponsored by Commentary Services. But we've got a breakout here. Here's Semedo chasing the ball. Semedo gets the cross in. Oh, it's a dangerous one towards the back post, but it's headed behind by Kieran Trippier, who's been absolutely immense today. The ball was played quickly, and Semedo got away, and for the first time, really just got inside that Newcastle defence. But good work by Trippier to head that away. And it's going to be a corner. We're just looking at Kieran Trippier's free kick as well, hoping to catch Jose Sarr out on his near post. Well, that didn't work. And the corner is going to be taken by Matinho. And it's the 7th corner of the game. Sorry, it's the third corner of the game for Wolves by Moutinho. And it's dropped short, and the cross comes in. It's punched out by Pope. Might have been better catching that. Johnny just heads it back to Nelson Semedo. Semedo played down on this near side, and it's Neves. Neves just drops the ball back to Jimenez. Jimenez just gives it back to Neves. Neves to Neto. Neto, is he going to swing the cross in? Well, it's a good block by Dan Burn, and it's going to be a throw into Wolves. We're on the hour mark. It's still Newcastle United 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0. And here is Nelson Semedo. Semedo just dropped back to Lamina. And it's back with Johnny. And Wolves just patiently building up here. And here is Semedo. Semedo, long ball over on the far side there, looking for Johnny, but comfortable work at the back by Kieran Trippier. Good work by him. So you are listening to Alternative Commentary on the Commentary Hub YouTube channel. Today's Player of the Match sponsor on the Hub is sponsored by Commentary Services, and Commentary Services would like to thank our broadcasting partners for this season, JB Sports and Storm FM. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Commentary Live 1, and you can like our Facebook page at facebook.com/the Commentary Hub. The ball is played long now to Neto, who's over by the corner flag. Neto just drops it back to Semedo. Semedo back to Neto. Semedo now picks the ball up, but that's good work at the back there by Willock, and it goes out of play. It's going to be a throw into Wolves again. It's taken quickly by Neves, and it's given to Dawson. Dawson to Lamina as Newcastle pressing Wolves all the way back into their own half. Possession status right now is 51% possession for Newcastle, as Lamina just gives the ball over to Neves. On the far side now is Johnny as he goes over the halfway line. It's a 72% possession for Wolves in the second half, but they haven't created much. They've not been able to break it down. The cross comes in. It's headed out, but only as far as Neves. And he gets his foot underneath that. Well, it was a chance. Wolves haven't had many chances in this first half, but that was an opportunity. The cross came in. It was headed out by Sven Botman, but only as far as Neves. But his opportunity was a good one. He had more time than he realised, and in the end, he launches it over the crossbar. And there's Lopetegui now, just discussing with his coaching staff what his next options are. Well, biggest challenge for Wolves today, of course, has been breaking down this Newcastle defence that has been absolutely outstanding, it has to be said. Eddie Howe, on the other hand, who's also discussing with his coaching staff, Jason Tyndale and a couple of others there, just discussing what his options are. Here's Neves. Neves. He just gives the ball to Neto now. Neto gets across him with the outside of his boot. It's headed away only as far as... Oh, that's a good save. It was only as far as Moutinho. And he got the shot away. And it's a good save by Nick Pope. And Nick Pope gets the ball away, but Wolves back on the attack, and that was another opportunity for Wolves. The header out wasn't great by Shah, and it left an opportunity there for Moutinho, but the Wolves have given the ball away now, and here is Alan Saint-Maximin, but he's dispossessed by Lamina. And Lamina gives the ball away, and now here is Joe Willock. Willock trying to get inside the penalty area. Good challenge by Lamina. Well, he made up for that bad pass. Chased that back and won the ball back off Joe Willock. It's cost him a corner, but that was good work by Lamina. We have 65 minutes gone here. It is Newcastle United 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0. We're going to see Miguel Almiron. And there's someone else over there, and I can't see because Eddie Howe is just blocking his face. Yes, we're going to see Callum Wilson and Miguel Almiron. They are coming on. We're just going to see who they're coming on for in a moment. But I don't think I wonder if they're going to make the change now while they're cut before the corner. I wouldn't suspect so, but we'll see. Almiron has just sort of gone back. I don't know whether he's coming on now at all now. But it's going to be a corner. The referee has stopped play for some reason. And I'm not sure why he stopped play. He's pointing at his headset. Is VAR looking at something? Well, Trippier wants to know what's going on. Dawson is going over. We're just gonna see. Looks like we're now gonna have the corner. Although once again, the referee is now going over to talk to Trippier. Trippier arguing with the referee over I'm not sure exactly what. Andy Madley saying I'll blow the whistle when I'm ready. And it looks like we're now going to get a corner. We hope. Trippier, it looks like he's going to in-swing this one. Just see exactly. Yes, he does. It's not the best corner, but chasing in there, of course, was Fabian Schär to try to get on the end of that. But it was a difficult one to get to, and I think he was just beaten by Raul Jimenez. So it's going to be another corner. And once again, it's going to be taken by Kieran Trippier. Kieran Trippier swings the ball in, and it's just headed away by Semedo. Not really far enough, and Newcastle still have the ball with Willock. Willock, long ball on the far side to Murphy. Murphy dropped to Guimaraes. Guimaraes gives the ball back to Murphy. Murphy just trying to get the cross in there. He does. Dan Burn heads it back into the penalty area, and it's up in the air there. And Jose Sarr just clutches it out the air, and that move breaks down for Newcastle. As now Nelson Semedo is away to try to start something for Wolves. He's fouled though, and now we may see the substitution. Let's just take a look. We'll just see. The referee has flashed another yellow card. This time it's Sean Longstaff. So yellow card there for that tackle, and it looks like we're now going to see a substitution. And it looks like Alexander Isak is going off. So he will be coming off, I suspect, Callum Wilson. And Alan St. Maximum is going off for Miguel Almiron. So your substitutions here are Miguel Almiron and Callum Wilson on. Alexander Isak and Alan St. Maximum are off. So that's an interesting change. And Almiron, 10 goals to his name, will wear 24. Wolves are also making a substitution. It looks like they're making a double one as well. And Neves is off. And Hwang Hee-chan is on. And there is another one as well. Just trying to see who it is that's gone off there. Okay, so just give me a moment and I'll get that information for you. Okay, so Neves is off. Wang Hee-chan is on. There has been another Wolves substitution, and I'm going to get that for you just as soon as I can. It's not been announced on the monitor yet. The ball is... oh, there it is. So Neves... so Podence, Neves and Johnny are off. Hwang, Nunes and Alt Nuri are on. So Neves... so Johnny is off. And it's going to be... here's Wolves now coming forward. And the ball breaks loose, and here's a chance, and it's a goal. And Wolves are level, and it's a substitute, Hwang Hee-chan. And well, out of nowhere, Wolverhampton Wanderers are level. And well, as I was still trying to figure out the substitutions, and it's a goal by Hwang Hee-chan. He's of course one of the substitutes. Let's have a look at it again. The ball is bouncing around on the edge of the penalty area. It's played in. Newcastle, between Botman and Nick Pope, don't deal with this. And for the first time, Newcastle fall apart defensively. Botman slips as he tries to clear it. Pope is already on his way down. And that leaves Hwang Hee-chan with an empty net to level the score for Wolves. So we're at 1-1 now. Yeah, he just slipped as he was trying to clear that. In the meantime, I'm still trying to work out the substitutions. So it's Johnny off, Podence off, and Neves is off as well. So Mateus Nunes and Hwang Hee-chan and Ryan Alt-Nuri are on. So Nuri wearing number 3 and Hee-chan number 11 and Nunes 27 are your substitutions there. And here is Joe Willock. Willock plays the ball over on the far side and it's picked up by Kieran Trippier. Trippier plays the ball forward looking for Almiron, but the ball goes out of play. It's going to be a goal kick. And we are at 1-1. And, well, it just came out of nowhere, that goal. And it's going to be a goal kick. And 71 minutes gone here. Newcastle United 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers 1. And of course, this has been the way of things, certainly in the last 10 meetings between the two sides. 6 out of those 10 matches have finished a draw. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's what we finish at here today. Foul there on Wilson. It's going to be a free kick to Matinho. And just see there as Wilson was breaking away. And it is a free kick by Matinho, free kick for the foul by Matinho. And just looking at the stats as well, they've really only had 5 in the second half of Wolves. They've certainly been a lot better in the second half, and I suppose they've got their just rewards really. And it's going to be the free kick is going to be taken by Trippier. It's about midway inside the the Wolverhampton half of the field, and he plays the ball into the box, and it's a foul there. Push, surely. It looked like a push there. And it's going to be a corner. It goes out of play for a corner, and the referee is just having to halt play because we may be looking at a push here. Unless the ball comes into the penalty area, and there it is. It's a push on Fabian Schär by Raul Jimenez. It looked fairly blatant to me, but the referee says no. VAR possibly looked at it briefly, but it's a corner. It's swung in by Jimenez, and it's headed down and up into the air again. And it's bouncing around there and cleared it into the air again by Dawson, but not really far enough away. Here's Almiron. Almiron dispossessed by Hwang Hee-chan, and he plays the ball forward, and he's looking for Nunes. Mateus Nunes. He's fouled. Is he? No. The referee says no, and the throw-in is taken quickly. And here is Trippier for Newcastle. So the ball is with Fabian Schär, and it's with Sven Botman now. And Schär just slipped at the vital moment, did Schär, when he attempted to clear that ball. And of course, Pope was already down, and that left Hee-chan with an easy tap in. And Newcastle have given away their 1-goal lead, and there's another tackle, this time again on Mateus Nunes, and once again it's a foul. This time the referee is adjudged to have seen that and given a free kick. We are going to see another substitution by Wolves, and it's going to be Nathan Collins coming on. I'm just trying to see who it is that's coming off. It is, yes, it's João Moutinho is coming off, which is interesting. That looks like a defensive substitution. So they're taking off Moutinho. Moutinho, I'm not sure really likes it. But coming on now is Nathan Collins. And that's an interesting substitution, with Wolves really playing quite well in the second half. But that seems to be a defensive substitution. Moutinho off, and Collins coming on. And that's the full allotted 5 substitutions used for Julian Lopetegui. So we're still at 1-1 here. In about 10 minutes' time, I suppose I'll have to consider my player of the match. And it's a free kick just inside the Wolves half of the field. It's going to be taken by Dawson. And Dawson plays the ball long. And just up there is Hwang Hee-chan again. And it just goes all the way through to Kieran Trippier. Trippier just clears the ball out of play. So with that substitution, Nathan Collins wears the number 4. And he's useful in the air, of course, is Nathan Collins, former Burnley player. is very useful if you're looking for the headers from corners and things like that. Perhaps that is Lopetegui's plan here. The ball is long, and it's picked up here now by Nelson Semedo. Semedo just drops it back here to the number 5, Lamina. And Lamina just goes all the way back to Maximilian Kilman, gives it to Chan and to Nunes, and he goes back to the goalkeeper. And it's cleared downfield by Jose Sa. And just 14 minutes remaining now. And it's Newcastle United 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers 1 as we go into the final stretch of this Premier League tie, and we are tied all at 1 at St James's Park. And there's Nathan Collins. Collins just, it's a bad ball. And Newcastle have a chance now with Willock. It's dropped back to Longstaff. Longstaff back down on this near side. It's swung in and it's headed away, but only up in the air and hacked away there by Nunes. And, well, that was an opportunity really there for Newcastle, but it kind of broke down. It came about from the poor ball by Nathan Collins. Shaw plays the ball long over, down on this near side to Murphy, who seems to have switched sides. Here's Jacob Murphy, cuts into the penalty area. Jacob Murphy, can he get the cross in? But it's blocked by Nathan Collins, and it's going to be a goal kick. It was determined that Murphy had just rolled the ball out of play. And yes, he actually did. It came off Nathan Collins, and Nathan Collins is trying to point out that. But I think that was already given by the assistant on this near side. So it's going to be a goal kick. And Jose Sa will take this goal kick. And as Wolves seem to have settled back into sort of a defensive position here, let's see if they're going to try to go for the win. I suspect like a win would be so vital for Wolves' survival hopes. I don't think they can afford to really settle for just a point here. And here is Joe Willock. Willock in the centre circle, plays the ball long, looking for Miguel Almiron, slips, but he's able to get on his feet and keep possession. Almiron slips it to Trippier. Trippier gets the cross in, and Jose Sa just gets up in the air and pulls it out the air well. And then he goes over. It looks like he was tripped by one of the Newcastle players. Not sure exactly who. Might have been Callum Wilson. And Miguel Almiron there just played the cross to Trippier. It took a deflection up in the air, but Jose Sa was equal to that. And it's going to be... He's going to launch the ball downfield now. And right-footed. Long. It's looking for Alt-Nuri there. And it's won back by his Burn, and he slips it to Almiron onto the far side. Almiron approaching the penalty area, played infield here to Joe Willock. Willock plays the ball back to Almiron. Almiron with a chance, and Newcastle are back in front. And Miguel Almiron, the substitute, gets his 11th goal of the season in the Premier League. And he just runs over to celebrate. Once again, Wolves' defence. Miguel Almiron just cut into the penalty area. It was such a tight angle, but he curls it beautifully past Jose Sa. And Newcastle have retaken the lead here at St James's Park. And it is on 78 minutes. Almiron, not surprised. He's having a magnificent season. He's a Paraguayan. And we're going to look at that again. And let's just see, it starts really in the middle of the park, really. It's played across to Almiron. Almiron has got space, and he just kind of plays it then to Willock. Willock just plays the ball beautifully through to Almiron, but there was nobody watching him, and there was Almiron to just curl the ball past Jose Sa. Bit of an awkward angle, but he did it beautifully. And Newcastle are 2-1 up. And, well, have to wonder now, with only 11 minutes left, whether that is going to be enough. Well, just 10 minutes, really, after 8 minutes, really, after Chan's equaliser. We are now 2-1 Newcastle. Well, we've got 10 minutes to play now, and we are in for a very interesting last 10 minutes of this game. And here's Collins. Collins just drops it back to Dawson. Dawson just turns away from Murphy and plays it across to Kilman. Kilman, and it's out on the near side to Alt Nuri. And he gives it back to Dawson. Dawson plays the ball long, looking for Semedo. Semedo with Neto just trying to keep the ball in play, but he only succeeded in giving the ball back to Newcastle. Collins tries to win the ball back. Here's Neto again. He slips it to Semedo. Forward to Neto. Neto just keeps the ball in play, but it's knocked out of play there by Longstaff, and it's going to be a throw-in to Newcastle. To Wolves. Lopetegui trying to point out options. Well, I'm not sure it was such a good idea to really take off Matinho. He went for a more defensive posture, and now he finds his team a 2-1 down with 9 minutes to go. And it's cleared by Pope downfield. And it's just flicked on. It's back with Collins. Collins just slips the ball to Semedo. Nelson Semedo plays the ball forward, and it just comes off Joe Willock there. And it's going to be a throw into Wolves. Newcastle now, of course, have the luxury of playing on a more defensive structure. And that's exactly what they will do. They've been very difficult to break down all the way through the game. The one goal coming, of course, from that slip from Shah. And here's Semedo. Chan tries to play the ball on, but Chan's ball to Jimenez was very disappointing, and it goes behind for a goal kick. Well, Trippier, Dan Burn just being helped to his feet. Raul Jimenez trying to ensure that there's no time wasting. We have 8 minutes to go. Eddie Howe just going to have a little chat with Jason Tyndall and see if he can organise maybe some more changes at this time. He may just want to rest a few players and see what options he's got available. It's cleared downfield. And just one that is and cleared away is Nelson Semedo, and it's won back inside his own half by Trippier, who plays the ball forward. It's knocked on by Willock, and good work here by Nathan Collins. Collins just drops the ball to Nunes. Mateus Nunes, looking for the options. He's got Semedo, but he drops it back to Collins. And it goes all the way back to Dawson. Dawson back to Kilman. Kilman back to Dawson. Dawson gives the ball away. And goodness me, that nearly let in Callum Wilson. And Nunes just keeps possession. And he's giving it to Collins. And Wolves are dilly-dallying about on the edge of the own penalty area here. And here's Semedo now. Semedo under the challenge by Dan Burn. And it's lost here. And it's going to be a Newcastle throw-in, where they really didn't need to do that, Wolves. Well, this again is very, very sloppy play. And it's all it's done really is given... We're going to see some Newcastle substitutions now, and I'm just going to take a look at who's coming on. Looks like it's going to be 2 substitutions. One of them is Matt Ritchie. Just not quite sure who the other one is as of yet. But Jacob Murphy is going off. So Murphy is off. Looks like Matt Ritchie is probably going to make the entrance for Jacob Murphy, indeed. And we're just going to see there was another substitution lined up there. I'm just going to try and get that one for you, although I don't think that has been made yet. And the throw-in is taken quickly. And here's Guimaraes, and the ball goes out of play. And Guimaraes trying to raise the support from the Newcastle fans, and Dan Burn. Burn just drops it to Guimaraes. And he's dispossessed, and Wolves now attempting to clear it, but only as far as the edge of the penalty area, and the shot coming, but it's blocked, and it's back again to Trippier, and Trippier tries to launch the ball in, and it's over on the far side to Guimaraes. Guimaraes, can he get inside the penalty area? Oh, he only succeeds in giving it to Collins. So with that substitution, Matt Ritchie wears the number 11 shirt, and here is Nelson Semedo. And Nelson Semedo gives it back to Collins, and Collins goes across to Maximilian Kilman, and Kilman, well, he just gives the ball to Nunes. It's back with Dawson, and back again here now with Kilman. Kilman just slips the ball out on the far side to Alt Nuri. Very shortly now, I'll be naming my player of the match in just a few minutes. But the ball is played long over on the far side to Semedo. But Semedo gets a header on it. He's not able to control it. And in the end, it just goes through to Nick Pope. And here come Newcastle storming over the halfway line. And Miguel Almiron now with the ball. Almiron, the scorer of the second goal, which is so far the winning goal. Almiron gives it to Longstaff. Longstaff. And it's to Gimaresh. Gimaresh drops it back to Longstaff. To Almiron, looking for Gimaresh, but good block by Nunes, and it goes out. Goes out for a throw-in. Looks like that block came off Kilman, and it's Kieran Trippier here now with the throw-in. We'll name the player of the match in just a moment, but it's going to be Kieran Trippier first with this throw-in. As we approach the twilight minutes of this game. And it's the throw-in was headed away, but it's picked up by Fabian Schär. Goes all the way back to Nick Pope. Nick Pope downfield. It's won comfortably by Alt Nuri. And here's Fabian Schär again. As once again, it's like a bit of head tennis. Ball launch once again back into the Newcastle, the Wolverhampton half of the field, and Alt Nuri plays it back to Holy Sarr, and he gives it to Collins. Collins. Comment in the comment section from Alex Dobby. Come on, Newcastle. Well, Alex, looks like your beloved Newcastle may be getting the 3 points here, but there's still a few minutes to go. And it's Semedo here. And here's, well, Neto was fouled there that time. And I think now's a good time to look at our player of the match. And today's player of the match, I think, has had such an involvement in the game all the way through, defensively and going forward. I'm giving my player of the match today, sponsored by Commentary Services, to Newcastle's number 2, Kieran Trippier, who's been absolutely outstanding all the way through this game. Just charging at the Wolves' defence, creating chances, defending excellently. He really has been up and down that wing all the way through the game, and he's our player of the match today. So the free kick is taken quickly. It's launched into the penalty area, but coming away from it is, I believe that's Sven Botman, who just cleared the ball downfield, but it's picked up again, and it's Nunes launching the ball long into the box, looking for Collins, but it's way over Collins' head and goes behind for a goal kick. Well, we are inside 90 seconds. There's been 1 or 2 stoppages in the second half, but I really don't see there being much more than maybe 3 minutes of stoppage time in this game. But we'll see on what Craig Pawson is adding on. I've given up really trying to predict this, to be honest with you. It changes so much. Newcastle just 4 points away from 4th place with 2 games in hand, so they are very much alive for a Champions League place, and of course if they can hang on to this, it'll be their first win in 5 league games. Here is Nick Pope downfield, and it's headed on away there by Kilman, and the ball is played forward looking for Neto. Neto just on the other side of the field now, but good work by Botman. He just gets on that and knocks it out of play. It's going to be a throw-in to Wolverhampton Wanderers. I'm hearing from my producer, Russ Vernon, and my host, that there is actually going to be 5 minutes added time. Generous in my mind, but that's... and Russ is usually right, so I'm not going to argue with that. We'll go with that. 5 minutes left. And that throw-in is taken quickly by Trippier, our player of the match. He throws it to Gimaresh, but Gimaresh is fouled by Lamina, and it's going to be a free kick to Newcastle United as the Magpies are holding on to a 2-1 lead right now. And for Wolves, the ongoing battle, just 3 points above relegation as they continue to struggle this season. And indeed, there's a confirmation from Craig Pawson, 5 minutes injury time. And it's played forward to, that's to Dan Burn. And it's good block, in fact, that time by Nunes. And it goes out of play for a throw-in. And it's going to be Dan Burn that's going to take it. Lopetegui is pointing at his watch, encouraging Burn to take the throw-in quickly. It is taken, but it's the header is won by Collins. And Collins' header is picked up by Craig Dawson and goes back to the goalkeeper. Here's Nuri. Nuri. He's under pressure there by Miguel Almiron. Is he adjudged to have fouled him? The referee says yes. Certainly the assistant on the far side gave it. So it's going to be a free kick to Newcastle United. We are 1 minute inside the 5 minutes added on for this game. And it's going to be taken by Jose Sarr. There's Alexander Isak, one of the goal scorers today. The other was Miguel Almiron, and sandwiched in between that was Hwang Hee-chan's goal on 70 minutes. And that gives us our 2-1 scoreline at the moment. And here is Neto. Neto just drops the ball back there to Dawson on the halfway line. Plays the ball across to Kilman. Kilman out to Alt Nuri on the far side as he attempts to attack the Newcastle defence. Alt Nuri has got Almiron and Guimaraes in front of him, and Guimaraes dispossesses him easily. Guimaraes is away. He's having his shirt pulled, but Guimaraes is still going. Is he fouled there? The referee says yes for the tackle by Alt Nuri, and it's going to be a free kick to Newcastle United. And, Guimaraes is not in any hurry to get to his feet. Sean Longstaff, of course, helps Guimaraes to his feet there. And we are still 2-1 at St James's Park as we have 3 minutes, minimum 3 minutes stoppage time remaining in this Premier League match. The free kick is going to be taken by Fabian Schär. It's a long ball by Schär over looking for Callum Wilson. Miguel Almiron tries to pick it up, but good work by Alt Nuri, and it goes behind for a corner to the Magpies, and it's going to be Miguel Almiron that takes it. Well, I just wonder whether Almiron will try to encourage a game-killing goal here. Collins just making sure that the corner is taken as quickly as possible. It is Newcastle's 11th corner of the game. And it's going to be taken by Almiron. He's going to take it short to Wilson. Looks like they're going to try and eat up some time here. And Wilson just holds the ball, drops it to Almiron. Almiron back to Guimaraes. Guimaraes back to Almiron in the penalty area. Almiron pulls it back. Oh, what a chance! Oh, Sven Botman, what an opportunity! That was there to kill the game, but he blazed it over the crossbar. Well, he's not a striker, of course, but this was a golden opportunity. Great move between Almiron and Guimaraes. Almiron plays the ball, gets inside the penalty area, plays the ball across to Botman, and he just blazed it wide, actually. Well, it was a beautiful flick on by Guimaraes to Almiron as well. It was a perfectly worked move by the Magpies and really deserved the goal, but he just blazed it wide, did Botman. And it's a goal kick as it stands. Golden opportunity, it has to be said. Will they regret that chance? Because here come Wolves, and it's Nelson Semedo. Semedo gets across, and great block by Dan Burn. Fantastic block. Stopping the cross from coming in, and we're in the last minute. It's going to be a corner to Wolves now, and we're in the last minute of injury time. Well, it's the minimum time. Is Jose Sarr going to come up? We've seen it before. Doesn't look like it this time. The corner is going to be taken by Neto. It's a poor corner, and it's cleared away really there by Wilson, who gets most onto that, but it's hooked back in by Lamina, and it's bouncing around there, and Newcastle are just not able to clear it right now. And finally, Fabian Schär gets his foot through it, and the game goes on. And here's Lamina, wins the ball back in the centre circle. Lamina out onto the far side. It's picked up there by Nunes. Nunes looking for options. Long ball over, and it was a long ball over into the penalty area, and all that's needed there is Nick Pope to just pluck the ball out the air, which he does. and he drops face down and he releases the ball to Dan Burn, and it is full time, and Newcastle United take the points. Well, second half equaliser from Wang Hee Chan on 70 minutes. But 8 minutes later, substitute Miguel Almiron adds his 11th goal of the season, curling the ball away past Jose Sar's right hand. And Newcastle United move within 4 points of Tottenham Hotspur with 2 games in hand. Final score here at St James's Park. It is Newcastle United 2, Wolverhampton Wanderers 1. Back to you, Ross.
Thank you very much there to Paul James. Excellent commentary this afternoon on what has been an excellent game of football at St James's Park. Newcastle United beat Wolverhampton Wanderers by 2 goals to 1 in the Premier League. Today we'll run you through all the Premier League scores and the other scores shortly. But Paul, if you're still with us, I have got some breaking news to bring our listeners, and I want to fetch you in on this breaking news as well, because it concerns the team that you support, Burnley Football Club. They have announced this evening, just after 6 o'clock, that they have been placed under a transfer embargo by the EFL. I'll just read you the club statement and then we'll get your thoughts on this one, Paul. He says, "We would like to share with our supporters the disappointing news that the EFL are placing the club under immediate transfer embargo. We believe in transparency in these matters is paramount and we want to explain why this has happened. In our continued efforts to improve and move forward, Burnley Football Club, we made the decision to change our auditors in November, and the transition has taken longer than we anticipated. We can confirm that we've provided a draft accounts and financial information to the EFL's Club Financial Reporting Unit, and we continue to have regular dialogue with the unit to ensure we remain as open and as transparent and answer any questions the league may have. We believe the EFL will have no issues with the detail of our accounts other than their late submission and fully understand and support their position and efforts to sanction any club who fails to comply with any of their regulations. Both the club and our new auditors are confident this can be resolved swiftly, and we hope our submission will be made next month, which at which point the embargo will be lifted. We once again wish to ensure supporters that this will have no detriment to the ongoing success and development of the club as we move forward." So there's the statement from Burnley Football Club about the club going into under a transfer embargo. And Paul, you're a Burnley fan, my friend. Your initial thoughts on that before I get on with today's results?
Well, I'm also an accounting student, Ross. What they're doing, by the looks of it, is they're just auditing the books, and they've put an embargo in place for a month. Not that Burnley can buy any players within that time, anyway, because the transfer window's closed. So it's to be honest with you, it's kind of a pointless thing to put in the embargo, if I'm being honest. But if they have to audit the books, and I can kind of understand that's probably the correct procedure in which they're doing it. But if Burnley have had to change their auditors, that's a massive change. That's not something that just gets done overnight, or new things need to be brought in. So I would say, to be honest with you, Ross, it's I can kind of see why they've done what they've done, and if they have to audit the books, well, they have to audit the books. I mean, it's for me, it's not an issue. I would hope that Burnley would have followed correct accounting procedures and correct financial regulations. I'm hopeful that they have. I don't want to hear that they haven't, but it's just for me, from what I read of that statement, it's just an accounts audit.
Yes, and you've obviously seen what JB's had to say this evening. He's not happy with the news. He says, and I'll paraphrase this so we do not get taken off air. He says it's rubbish. There's nothing wrong with the way the club is has been run. He'd like to know which nosy clubs have reported Burnley to the Football League, and from that I don't think any club have reported Burnley to the Football League.
No, I don't
I
either.
think it's I think it's the club just informing the Football League over the situation, and put the embargo in place. Chris Wyman, a fellow Burnley fan, he says, right, an embargo when the window is shut, like you mentioned, Paul. Interesting way to go about it. Sounds like a simple admin issue, and the EFL are following protocol so they don't get whinged at. So he reckons nothing really to worry about. He also goes on to say they've stated the EFL would have been aware of the audit change was going on, so this might been expected by Burnley Football Club. They also just say this as well in regards to the Burnley situation, but with a different sport, which we've yet to cover here on the commentary. It says it's a bit like Formula One. When Williams submitted their paperwork late, they'd been recently taken over and paperwork was taking longer than usual. So they got by a so they got a by the book punishment that really didn't do much damage, as both the FIA and the team were in regular dialogue about it. So Chris is thinking it's going to be something similar to that situation with the situation at Burnley. And do you reckon, Paul, before we go into today's scores, before we round up, do you think that's the do you think that's going to be a similar sort of case to what Chris was mentioning there? Really?
Well, I haven't looked at Burnley's book, so I can't say for sure. But if it's probably what it is with Burnley changing their auditors and the football, as Chris rightly said, the football league would be aware of that. So perhaps they've just chosen to audit Burnley's financial records. It's common. For businesses to have auditors, either they have their own auditors or they pay another company to do audits. But it sounds pretty serious. But for me, from what at the moment, I'm looking at this as just a simple review of the finances by the EFL's auditors. That's really the way I'm looking at this. I'm not jumping to any kind of conclusions at this time. I'm thinking that that's probably what it is. It's just a simple audit. They'll go through, and then we'll see if there has been any improprieties.